Okay, that's going.
Oh, I'll use that one.
Oh, that doesn't work.
And now I'm going to
Damn.
switch it to the podcast. And then I get the correct things. This is always a pain, but it's like I have to redo. Okay, here we go. Yep, that's.
I'm realizing, looking at my video, that it looks like I've just been wearing the same thing for the last 3 days because I recorded Sunday night, last night, and now tonight.
Yeah.
But it's because I wear this sweatshirt like a jacket. So, and it's cold.
Yeah, fair enough.
Plus, I'm trying to cover up this mop because my hair is getting crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, we like the blue hair.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I think I have enough dye to do my hair blue one more time, and then it'll be on to a new color.
Nice.
See, it's when you don't have hair that you have.
It's why I'm doing this now. I'm getting ahead of the game because eventually it's going to be gone. I know that.
Yeah, I said once I get to the point where I can't do anything with it, I'm just gonna shave it all off. So
Yeah, and that's where I've been at for.
What was it? You ever listen to Bomani Jones? You know who that is? He was on ESPN. I think he still is on ESPN for a while. But for the longest time, he would have his head shaved, and his thing was always he would always make fun of athletes that were trying too hard to like and denying the fact that they were going bald.
Right.
And so it was always like, you know, he just got to come on home. You just got to come on home. And for whatever reason that stuck with me. So I just think about that, and I tell my dad that all the time because for the longest time he just wouldn't admit that his hair was going. You know?
My dad still hasn't admitted it. It's one of those guys who's got the 3 strands that he still combs over and puts Brill cream in.
Oh, that's great. Now, do you have like one of those like hand razors that you kind of put on almost like a ring and then shave, or?
You know, I had one. I had one of those skull razors, and it was impossible to clean. It didn't open. So
yeah, that would be a problem.
It was like impossible to clean. So I just have a regular razor that I use.
I've always wondered because I've seen those, or I've seen the one that looks like a little lawnmower, basically, that you run over your head.
Yeah, no, I just have like a Norelco 3-blade.
There you go.
As long as I do it every 3 or 4 days, it's pretty good. Actually, yeah, probably needs it done tomorrow.
I mean, I shaved my head for a little while. After I had a mohawk for a while, and then I finally got tired of that, so I just shaved it off and went bald for a bit.
Yeah,
and then recently I was like, God damn it, I'm going to finally grow my hair longer than this is the longest my hair has ever been, which is where it's at now, and it's not that long.
Mm-hmm.
But
oh no, back in the day I had shoulder length, thick flowing locks of raven beautifulness.
That's kind of like I don't know if I'll ever get here, but if either of you ever watch Good Mythical Morning with Rhett and Link.
I mean, I've watched Rhett and Link. I don't know if I've seen that specifically.
That's like their main show, but Rhett has let his hair grow for like the last year and a half, and it's like my hair is like that, where it's very wavy and curly. So I'm kind of like, maybe I'll try and get hair like his and just be a shorter version of Rhett.
Right.
Because that dude's freakishly tall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Like I'm tall, but he's 6'7".
That's really tall.
So you guys can't see me, can you?
Nope.
I can see you in the stream.
Yeah. Well, let's see if is it gonna break everything now? Yeah, it's gonna break everything, isn't it?
Yeah, because it moved me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Discord.
What I actually started doing was, instead of running my camera straight into OBS because I was having the same problem, I used the Discord feed
Right.
into OBS.
Yeah, that was what I was kind of thinking. If
Yeah,
I
you
can-
know, I use XSplit because it works really well.
Yeah.
And I I can, put that into 5 different sources and it works fine.
Yeah. I'm just too cheap for that.
I can give that a try.
Although I have to say, the virtual green screen that it does is pretty impressive.
That's very good. Yeah, this is their new version too. It's much better than it used to be.
Like, especially around your shoulders, around your arms, it's really crisp.
Mhm.
You know, around the
Yeah,
head, it's always going to be
There's
hard.
a chair. I'm sitting in a black and orange chair.
Yeah,
You
that
can't see
can't
it.
tell. No,
Here.
like you can see it a little bit around your head, but that's always
There.
the harder part to do it. Oh yeah, I mean that's pretty impressive.
How important do you think it is to see my video for you guys?
Oh, I'll be fine because, like I said, I've got the stream open, so I can see you in that at least.
Yeah, that was kind of what they said on the last episode too.
Like, yeah, it's delayed, but whatever, I can still see you.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have to end up doing what you're doing with that, but we shall see. For now, I think we'll just stick with this.
Yeah, I basically just did it for the same reason. I got tired of. At one point, I was trying to use 2 webcams, but the problem is, if you're in Windows and you use 2 webcams from the same company, they won't work. For whatever reason, 2 Logitech webcams won't run at the same time.
Oh, weird.
And I had it working. I had it working at one point. I don't know how, but it was.
Mhm.
And then I unplugged to move something, and it stopped working. So, like, darn it.
Nice.
I don't know why that is. It's something to do with the drivers. They just conflict, and it drives me crazy. Oh, that was
Yeah.
cool, Diddy. When you moved,
Yeah.
when you move a little bit, your microphone filter comes into play, but then when you move back, it disappears. So it's like it's there right now, and when you get back to your seated position, it'll just blink out.
Oh,
That's cool.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, the software's really good. I don't think it was that expensive. I was like maybe I want to say it was $50.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I was playing around with it before I bought this house and kind of got some things squared away a little bit better financially. I've thought about looking back at it. Right now, I'm trying to come up with ideas and things to do to like rearrange my background a little, redo the shelving,
How's the house?
and get something. The house is great.
Yeah.
I found out my neighbors have flooding problems that I don't have, so that's good because it rained like crazy lately. And I was out walking the dog, and I noticed, oh, they're tearing out all their flooring. They got the flood fighters there, and
Oh,
I was
yeah.
worried that my house might because of the way it's situated, but it drains really well off of it. So
That's good.
You have a basement?
yeah,
You have a real basement?
Mhm.
Not like a walkout in the back. Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
those can be brutal.
I've got a walkout lower level, but it's a standard basement. They just the way the grade of the property
Mm-hmm.
it led for a walkout of that level, so which is kind of nice. Yeah, it's actually where this room is. This room is in the basement.
Suppose I should be checking levels here. How do you guys want to be addressed again on the show? I guess Travis has been on. I guess this is a first for Diddy.
Oh, I don't care. Diddy's fine. Or Don. I don't care.
Okay. Yeah.
Whichever style of show you want to do is fine. Usually, it's because it's not about games. It doesn't matter.
Okay. Yeah. No, I guess I'm mostly wondering like if whether or not anyone wants their last name used or anything. It's up to you guys.
Oh, I don't care.
I mean,
Whatever.
it's fine either way. Yeah. My last name's out there everywhere, so it's not like I'm trying to hide it.
Right. Just,
I had somebody on Twitter once say, your last post on Twitter had your geolocated. I was like, yeah, I know, it's actually right in my profile.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. That's in your things, and we're gonna talk about that.
it's just Miller, right? Don?
Yeah.
Or- okay.
Yep. Yeah.
/ Diddy Miller.
Yep.
Oh, Cam.
Aw, he's adorable.
I don't.
He's behaving right now.
Oh yeah, she's back there.
I have no pets to show off, unfortunately.
Can you see her? There, she's asleep on her
Okay.
poop.
Very nice.
Aw.
That is Kit. The other one is hanging around the other one's probably asleep on my pillow.
Nice.
or on my side of the bed.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I've been trying to wear him out before I record anything because he's terrible about like having to go out the moment I start doing something.
Sure. Yeah, that's that's how it goes. Actually, I'm just checking my mic.
Mhm.
Just checking my slider here. I'm probably getting too loud on your end now. Let's see. How does that sound right now?
I'm okay.
So-
I can turn you down. So
Okay.
Yeah, I can turn you down on my end if I need to, but you sound fine.
yeah, you sound okay.
I might need to. Yeah, I might need to. Let me just manually turn you guys down. I just want to make sure this is somewhat level. So if I can avoid sending it through Levelator, I will.
Travis, I got my card back in today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they I got to give Nvidia kudos, man. They their customer service was right on.
Nice.
It's amazing. My card's a year old, and they sent me a brand new one.
Oh wow.
Very nice. I just got a Radeon sent back to me. I guess it's from what is it? Sapphire is the brand, but I'm sure mine's not brand new. I don't know. It's hard to really say. But all right, I think we're pretty much good. Just make sure this works. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, cool. Good to
All right.
go. And per usual, do a quick 3-second countdown. In 3, 2, 1.
Tech Bees.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tech Ease, the podcast about simplifying our lives one gadget at a time. This is episode number 26. Not 26, 96. For Tuesday, October 26th, 2020. My name is Shane, and joined by me today, we have Travis Crawford, aka TV's Travis. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going about as good as it can be right now, I guess. So I feel like I'm saying the same thing every time now, but yeah, living the dream as best I can, I suppose.
Surviving. That's the way I like to put it. Just survive and advance. It's like the NCAA tournament.
For sure. That chuckle you hear there is this is new, right? New guest.
Yep.
Don Miller, aka Diddy. How are you doing?
Good. Howdy, folks. How y'all doing out there?
Well, it's good. Yeah, I was right. You hadn't been on the show. This is the first for you. Did I get that right?
It's the first time I've been on.
Okay,
Yeah.
just making
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
Right on. Yeah, so you guys are both pretty geeky guys. It's safe to say, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
Which is perfect for this show. As was mentioned, we talk about tech that simplifies people's lives, and I always say, well, that's pretty much most tech anyway. It's just kind of a fancy way of saying tech. On the other hand, there are some, once in a while, tech actually makes things worse for us, I think. So that's something to be said.
It is a double-edged sword for sure.
Definitely.
Well, without further ado, let's dive right into this.
News.
Alrighty, The Verge, common source on this show, but they report Google says all made by Google products now use recycled materials. The company hit the goal ahead of its 2022 target, which is kind of cool. Like I know some people kind of scoff at Apple's some of their more recent announcements in terms of their more environmentally friendly efforts of removing charging bricks and headphones from their packaging. In this case, they're not doing that, but certain products that are starting to do this are for their Pixels, Pixelbooks, Google Home, Nest, their cases and stands as well. And it's a little bit confusing at first because it's not necessarily entirely recycled materials. It just means that all of their products contain some form of recycled component. Yeah, they specifically list like the Pixel 5, Nest Audio, Nest Thermostat. Those are all examples that are doing this now. Google, they want to expand, I guess, including their own products. They want to expand this to the wider consumer electronics industry. Which sounds like something Google would do. I'll be honest. That's they're pretty good about sort of helping others along with themselves. So that's good. They plan to be carbon free by 2030. So that's kind of crazy to me. Just 100% done away with carbon and carbon neutral. They've been carbon neutral since 2007. Recycled or renewable. They have 50+% of plastic. 2025 is the goal to have recycled or renewable in over 50% of their products, which is also pretty neat. And then 100% plastic free and recyclable by that. So that's interesting. So they're working toward zero. Another thing here. A lot of this is obviously sounding foreign to me. It's because I'm not really in this particular field, but they're also working toward a zero waste to landfill certification, which sounds fancy, by 2022. I mean, I don't know. I think it's pretty cool to see this kind of stuff happening. Start with you, Diddy. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think this is nothing but good. Anything that we can do to help preserve the planet that we have, the only one we have, I think is a really good idea. I think it's really good to see a company like Google, who is a leader in the industry, taking this approach and this stand and saying, hey, we're going to do it, and we challenge everybody else to follow along. Like to see some other companies step up and throw their hats in the ring and do the same thing.
Totally.
Looking at you, Apple.
Yeah, totally. What are your thoughts on that, Travis?
So, yeah, I agree. Any move in this direction is a good move. There is a lot of kind of corporate speak, marketing speak in a lot of this with the, things like saying all of their products have recycled material in them now. It makes a good headline, but it's not like you're getting a Pixel 5 that's made completely out of recycled plastic and metals. There's still, it's the design phase, they're incorporating more recycled things in it, which is good. I always look at all of these big movements by a large company with a grain of salt. It's just the cynic in me. I can't help it. It's the same idea as like the fat-free cooking spray, because the amount of fat in the recommended dosage is below a certain percentage. They can call it fat-free, but it's not really, because it's just fat. And it's sort of the same thing here. They're moving in the right direction. I want to see more of it. It's a good start, but like carbon neutral doesn't mean they're not producing carbon. They're just buying offsets by buying and investing in renewable energy to offset the amount of carbon they put out. I think the article said that in 2018, the greenhouse gases were something like 4.9 million metric tons produced by Google. So, they're offsetting that, sure, and they're working to reduce that amount and get more renewable energy, which is great. But they haven't solved it yet either. So, it's a great step in the right direction.
For sure. I looked that back up, the part I was kind of tripping over my words about. So it was 100%, their packaging is planned to be 100% plastic free in 2025, which is why I was kind of
I thought it kind of was already.
Yeah,
so,
I thought it was.
Yeah, I guess not.
Because don't their phones come in that brown box now, and it's got the
even the
paper,
the Nest
the
Minis
molded
that
paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be that there's some component of plastic involved with it. Maybe I don't know if it's just talking about like labeling or what exactly, but yeah. But I'm for it. I'm for this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'd like to see a lot more companies follow on with this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think, the fact that Google is such a big player in the tech world, that other companies are going to follow suit, at least in some way. Whether it's as a, we need to look better thing, or just genuinely like, look, if Google can do it as big as they are, we can certainly follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like to see that. So Google being a leader in this space is good.
For sure. Definitely. Oh, before I forget, I meant to mention at the top of the show that this is a Banana Sock Wizards reunion, by the way, and that's not really by accident, although the cards just kind of fell into place. From America's Next Top Podcaster, of course, we were ever so briefly on a team.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Not bitter.
Sorry for bringing that up.
We won't mention that it was for Comedy Week.
Not bitter. Two people getting kicked off from the same team.
We won't mention
Comedy Week.
2/3 of this show were eliminated by Thanos' snap. All right, well, so article number 2 here is from TechCrunch, and it is titled Teaching Robots Through Positive Reinforcement. This may or may not be scary to some people. So, Good Robot, Johns Hopkins paper, there's a paper that's titled Good Robot, explores positive reinforcement with robots. So there's an author by the name of Andrew Hunt, I guess that's how you pronounce that, who derived this process from teaching his dog not to chase squirrels, and which is known as positive conditioning, which I'm sure a lot of dog owners out there are familiar with. The dogs are incentivized with both a high and a low value treat, whereas the robots in this case, they use a scoring system, kind of like a video game. So the score goes up when there's a success. In this case, they had a robot that was stacking building blocks, and then they made it seem like it just gets reset entirely if they screw up, or as what they called a progress reversal. And so the algorithm and the robot are both named the Schedule for Positive Task, or SPOT framework, which is kind of like, it's a dog's name, right? I mean, that's that's the gimmick, I guess.
It should be.
Yeah.
They're committing to the bit, right? So
Yeah, commit to the bit.
Jenny Josephson would be proud.
Exactly. It's mentioned that this type of technology could be used in self-driving cars, manufacturing, surgical robots, etc. 100% accuracy. That with these robots testing, that used to take a month, and now it only takes 2 days apparently, which is pretty nuts. Like, I'm trying to wrap my head around how this even works, right? Like, how it sure sounds like the robot's self-aware or something. Like, yeah, I guess they also talked about how they're navigating a video game, and in addition, they don't show. There's a video in this article. They don't show it playing a game, but well, they say navigating. I don't know if that's actually playing a video game, but
Right.
of course, the ultimate goal is to get it to do more complex and useful tasks. But yeah, I don't know, Travis. Does this scare you at all?
So, yes, but also no. It scares me because we're teaching robots to learn, and anybody who's ever read a single sci-fi story knows that never turns out well for the humans. However, they are using positive reinforcement. So my hope is that we're going to teach the robots and they'll become Johnny Five and not Skynet.
Right.
I think Skynet is born when you roll up the newspaper and baff the robot on the nose every time it does something bad. So
That's true.
I mean, look, progress in the nerd in me, the sci-fi loving nerd in me just wants to see robots because we've been promised this for most of my life. But it is always worrisome when you start teaching robots to think, because you're right. Like, we're incentivizing them that, oh, this is a good thing. You get more points. And, I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with it? It's scary, but exciting at the same time. It's like a roller coaster.
Sure.
It's really, really fun, but at the same time, it could go off the rails at any point, and we're all screwed.
What about you, Diddy? What are your thoughts on that?
As long as you program in the 3 laws, it's all good. So being a software developer, this is actually how AI works. AI basically is a game. If you think of AI as a game, that's how it works. It gives, it wants the higher score, so when it learns something the correct way, it gets more points. The more points it gets, it knows that is the thing that it's supposed to do that makes it a better outcome,
Right.
based around the parameters that you've given it for that particular task. So this really just is sort of an extension of the way that AI is programmed. And, when you hear somebody talk about fuzzy logic, that's basically what it is. It's just teaching it. You're teaching something how to perform the best by giving it a score.
Right. I like how my camera, for whatever reason, just started twitching as soon as we were talking about this. Like, the machines
Skynet
are listening. Yeah.
Well, the
But yeah,
interesting
as long
thing
as you
is, like,
program the 3 laws into it, it's all good.
Right.
oh, yeah. But the interesting thing is talking about, it being used for things like self-driving cars and manufacturing. What's cool about it is the robot isn't just learning, okay, this is, like, it's not a here is yes, here is no, but it's getting points. I assume I need to watch the full video,
Right.
but my guess would be that the way you would program this is to give on a scale. So depending on how it does it, it gets more or less points, which means it can learn multiple ways to do something too, which in a situation like a self-driving car, you need to have more than, A-B logic for a given situation. So, there's
Right.
that too.
Right, and it's also, you get more points for being more efficient at something. So if you produce something faster, if time is the critical factor on that, or if you produce something with less resources, if that's a critical factor, you get more points for that. And so it's teaching it how to do something in the best way possible for that scenario.
Right.
Yeah, and for things like manufacturing, that can,
Yeah, it's
that can really help not only productivity but cost.
Sure.
There's a lot of positive to this for sure.
there's a lot of positives to this. I know that science fiction sort of, glorifies the self-aware robot, and
Right.
I don't know how far in the future that is, but
Thought you were gonna say, and I for one accept our robot overlords.
I accept our robot overlords absolutely.
I'm not one to shy away from this topic. I'm sure I've talked about it on the show before, but my personal belief has always been that, like, I understand that AI is possible, and this all seems like they could become self-aware or whatever. But I've always kind of been of the belief that self-awareness is not really something that robots could be capable of. And I only say my only thinking is that the only way that robots are gonna like kill humans is A, if you train them to do so, or B, some kind of bug. I call it a bug. Maybe that's what the self-awareness ultimately is. Like, but if there's some kind of bug that causes a robot to malfunction to then kill humans, but I think we'd be silly not to build in a kill switch of some kind, unless the robot can figure that out too. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I've also heard people argue against me on this, so I'm probably all wet here.
Well, it's really hard to say because we have self-awareness and we have the ability to learn, but we're a mutation based on evolution. So there could be a mutation of some kind based on the technological evolution. We're not near that yet, probably. I don't know. Of course, I also don't know anything about this, so I'm just,
Yeah, we can only speculate.
Exactly.
Time will tell whether or not Skynet arrives. Alrighty, well, this is the part of the show where I get to rant about stupid shit.
You know what really grinds my gears?
You know what really grinds my gears? It's the cost of creating a smart home. There, I said it. I gotta say, I'm, as techie as the next guy, well, in theory, but I don't have a lot of smart home types of things in my house, which is kind of surprising. Like, I don't have a Nest. I don't have, what are those switches called? Like, I don't have Hue lights. I don't have what are they called? Wemo switches or something? Not Wemo.
yeah. There's
Yeah.
Wemo.
Sure. And I don't have, like, the locks on my doors that I can just unlock with my phone and that kind of stuff. And you know what? It grinds my gears. And I'm just here to say that I can't wait till the day when some of those costs start. And I'm sure they have already over time. I just don't think it's still some of that stuff. I don't think it's something I can really justify still. But this is coming from a guy that I hate that I have keys that I have to haul around. Like, I wish I could just do away with them altogether. Do either of you happen to have any of that fancy home automation stuff by chance?
I haven't carried my house keys around in years.
Really?
Years.
That's the dream right there.
I do not have the lock that locks with the phone, but I do have a cipher lock that you push the buttons and
Okay, sure.
unlock it.
Sure.
But as far as home automation, I'm all in. I have all of it. I have Nest and I have Hue lights and Casa outlets and power bars that I can turn the office and lights and everything on and off by voice command. I think we have a Google, what's that thing called?
Home? Google Home?
Google Home? The
Is
little
it
one.
Speaker?
Whatever. Yeah, we have one of those and a device in every room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive, I gotta say.
So yeah, I'm all in when it comes to home tech. The Nest Thermos, we can tell I can actually tell the Fire TV in the living room to change the channels, to put on whatever I want, to turn the TV on and off, all of that. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all for it. I love it, but I will agree with you. It is really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am all in theory, but not in practice yet, and a lot of it is that cost. Now, I just bought my home
Yeah.
earlier this year, so I just moved in here in March. What I'm doing is I'm slowly, piece by piece, starting to do that kind of stuff. So, like for instance, one of the things I want to get is a smart thermostat.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I haven't done it yet, and the thermostat that is in my house right now is like the cheapest version of a thermostat you can get. Like it doesn't even have a digital readout, so
yeah.
I'm just sort of like, well, the line's somewhere around.
Oh, does they have the little
65.
slider?
Yep,
That's the
it
little
does.
slider. Oh, I love it. Those are great.
Absolutely. And the only reason that I haven't changed it out yet is because shortly after moving in here, I started working from home, and so there wasn't a whole lot of like pressing incentive to have a learning thermostat when I'm here all the time and I never change the temperature
Right.
because I don't leave the house. But it's going to happen, as well as lighting and things like that. I have some Google. I have a smart alarm clock, and I have some Google Home speakers that I do use quite a bit. And I'm getting there. It's just you have to look at it piece by piece. You have to eat the elephant that way, because if you try to just do your whole house all at once, it's going to be way too much. You're talking the difference between probably $10 for 3 light bulbs or $15 for 1 light bulb kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've been in our house for 12 years. So, and it's built up over time. You know, a little thing here we did, I think actually, I think this is the second Nest we've had, because the first one didn't work with the new furnace.
Okay.
So, I mean, we built it up. I think the Nest was the first thing we did, and we bought some Hue lights, and just kept adding on to it. Eventually, I think every bulb in the house now is a Hue bulb. But
Nice.
we don't even turn the switches on or off. We just walk into the room and say, a person turn on the lights.
So the advantage with the Hue lights is that you can shift the colors mostly, right?
Well, we actually have, in most of the lights, we just have the white bulbs.
Oh,
So they're just on or off or dimmable. So those are much less expensive.
sure.
Mhm.
Here for my podcasting, I have the colored lights so that I can change their color. But
So
in most of the house, they're just white lights.
I honestly never really thought too much about it before just now, but is there a switch on the inside of the bulb or something, or how does you control them with your phone through, is it just a bulb that it's controlled
Just-
with?
Just the bulb, yeah.
That's crazy.
And they hook up to Wi-Fi.
Wow. Very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they don't ever turn off completely, so there is a little bit of leach electricity that happens all the time. But
Oh, really?
because we've switched to LEDs, our electric bill is negligible compared to what it was originally.
Right. Yeah. That amount of electricity that's using to keep that basically alive is so small that it doesn't matter. And you make up for it with the ability to easily turn on and off lights, right? So you don't leave a room and accidentally leave that light on for 8 hours, because a lot of them are on timers, aren't they? Or you set the timer?
You can set the timer. We do not, because we're home all the time now. But yes, you can set up before we would have it turn everything off at a certain, at like 10 o'clock, and then turn everything on like when we're getting close to home, because it knows that the phone is getting close to home. You can set it up so that it just turns the lights on.
Yeah, I was going to say literal LEDs. Obviously, we have so many devices throughout our homes we've had for years that contain LEDs that are on all the time anyway, so we know they're not super.
Yeah, we've gone through the whole spectrum. We went to CFLs first, and then swapped those out with the LEDs. And
I'm glad we're past that, because I remember hearing at one point that there's some warning on the package of, I don't know if it was CFL or what are the ones that had like the swirl bulb to them?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Yeah, those are CFLs.
I remember hearing at one point that you're supposed to, if one breaks, you're supposed to clear the room, put a fan on, and something for 30 minutes because of the mercury gas or something with those.
Yeah, so those are basically, remember the long tubes you had in
Sure,
school?
sure.
They're basically those just wrapped up
Yeah.
in
That
a
makes
little
sense.
bulb.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I actually have some of those still in my garage. Some of those fluorescent lights. You gotta have the ballast right and everything.
Certainly have them
Mhm.
at work. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was something. When I moved into the house, I went through and I bought all LED lights, but they were just real cheap ones. But I wanted all the light bulbs in my house to, I wanted to set a baseline. So I knew I wasn't going to have to guess and go out and buy bulbs every so often as the lights were going out. So I did that. And then what I'm going to do is slowly replace them with smart bulbs and replace plugs with smart plugs and things like that, and just build it up over time. Because
the big box stores have those Hue white lights. They have them on sale quite often. I think it's like $5 a bulb, maybe,
Okay.
which isn't bad.
That's good to know. That might be one of the things. That might be my jumping point, my jumping off point or on point.
Yeah, the Nest was first when we first moved in, and then the bulbs were next.
Sure. Cool. Well, that's cool. It sounds like you guys are way more home automated than I am. So,
but
I'm just going to quit the
will
show
agree
now.
with you. It is expensive.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Although the idea, I think, is that it's like programming where you put in a lot of effort at the beginning. You put in a lot of money at the beginning and hopefully make that up on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, that's
We've
fair.
definitely made it up in electric bills. That's for sure.
Good. Yeah, that's I'll get there. I'm sure I will sooner or later, but yet to be seen. Well, and I know we were kind of poo-pooing on Apple earlier, but everyone that listens knows that I am actually an Apple fanboy, so I'm going to go ahead and start talking a little bit about
XP Boost.
That's right. The iPhone 12 Pro, I guess, Pro model, whatever. Just it's a little, you pay a little bit more. It's not, I don't know. Apple likes to throw Pro on everything, like, ooh, I'm professional now or something. Like, it's still a phone. I don't know. This isn't a DSLR or something, but yeah. So it's here it is. It's pretty exciting stuff. I don't know if you can see that there. It's I got you can probably see my fingerprints because it shows up really well. You might immediately notice the obviously the flat edges. That's sort of, they're going back to that style now, even though they had the curved edges for so long. But
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of the iPhone 4.
4, 5, 5S, yeah, those are the
right, the
three
5
models
too.
that they had. It's kind of now that I think of it, it's crazy to think that they have that many. They've had that many more with curved edges now, because I think it was just those three models that had the flat edges, and now back to that now. I did get the gold version, which I thought kind of stood out the best. Some people, so like with the 11 Pro, they introduced this, what do they call it? It was a green, it was like winter mint or something. Something like that. Everforest or, which was very, very barely green. So they kind of did the same thing with this, with the 12s now, and they have a blue that's also barely blue. So I kind of saw that, and I saw they had the silver, and they had the one that's like graphite, and I don't know. This is the one that just kind of like was the coolest looking to me. But I've been kind of hoping they go back to this for quite some time, because mostly you can set it on its side. It's kind of a thing, like, or set it on its on its edge in a couple of places. I know you can't really see it here, but for if you need to have it sit upright and you don't have like a kickstand or something for your phone, you can take pictures that way. I've said now for quite some time that I thought it was super ironic that literally the same year that they decided to finally put a timer on the camera on iOS, they also made a curved edge so you couldn't have it sit sit on its side any longer. I was like, what the crap, guys? What are you doing? So I'm happy about that. Also, the grip I find is much easier to hold on to with the flat edges. So yeah, I don't know, because the curve, it's like if you hold it the wrong way, it could go whoop, like. So
my Essential phone is that same style where it's got the flat edges on it, and that was one thing I noticed with it. Was grip is so much better. On
sure.
that than some other ones.
I believe it. So you said Essential phone?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called, or is that, or what is it?
Yeah, it was a company. It was Andy Rubin who founded Android.
Oh, okay.
And he went off on his own after leaving Google, and it was called Essential, and so they made the Essential phone. And
okay. That rings a bell now.
They made one of them, and then it went under because
Gotcha.
nobody bought it until they put it. Nobody bought it until it went on sale, and then it's been a great phone, but
Sure.
it's got that same design style with the flat edges to it, and I really like that for grip.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So it's got 5G on it now, which I probably am not even going to be able to utilize for the most part for quite some time, but it's there. It's ready to go. Because I did test the speed, even though my phone says it's on 5G. Well, right now it just says Verizon and Wi-Fi, but even though it says 5G, when it has said 5G and I test the speeds look pretty much the same as they always have. So I don't think it's certainly not ultra band or whatever Verizon likes to tout, but I'll be ready whenever it decides to come along. I'll be here waiting.
Yeah, that'll take some time. The whole 5G thing. It's like when 4G rolled out however many years ago.
Exactly.
It'll be give it about I probably 3-4 years. 5G will be fairly prevalent.
It's funny because I remember my second iPhone was the iPhone 3G, which is crazy to think we've gone that far now already. But, and also that Apple's no longer naming their phones after the networks. They could call this the iPhone 5G now if they really wanted to.
Yeah.
So the display on this thing, this is a 6.1 inch, which is incidentally what the standard iPhone 11 was. For whatever reason, the 11s, the base models, they had the regular 11 a little bit bigger actually than the iPhone 11 Pro, and in this year they've made the 11 or the 12 Pro and the standard 12 the same size of 6.1 inches. The previous iPhone 11 Pro was 5.8, and the Pro Max, which isn't actually out yet, I think it's early November, but that is 6.7 up from 6.5. Having said that, the pixels per inch technically went up a little bit on this phone to 460, up from 458, and which is like super noticeable, let me tell you. The Pro Max has stayed at 458 for that. It's 2,000,000:1 contrast ratio with that. I almost said like Pro LED display. What do they call it? It's an OLED display, but
OLED.
Liquid Retina or whatever.
Yeah, it's super. They keep changing the name. They add a new suffix every year. 800 nits max brightness, 1200 in HDR. I don't know how that goes up with HDR exactly, but it almost seems like it would be perceived or something. I don't know how that works exactly, but pretty decent display on this thing. The glass, that's kind of one of the more interesting things about this phone. So I guess it has this fingerprint resistant oleophobic coating. That part I don't really care that much about. I mean, it's good that it's fingerprint resistant, but the real sort of marvel here is the ceramic shield front glass, which has this, literally they've embedded ceramic into the glass, which is allegedly makes it 4 times better drop performance. And I did watch, I can't remember who actually did the drop test, but there's a YouTube video where someone did the drop test, and The front-facing glass survived the entire thing on both the 11 and the 12. I keep doing that. The 12 and the 12 Pro. The front glass, the back, because it does have glass on the back, which you can barely tell here, but it is a frosted. It's a very nice-looking frosted glass. That didn't last. That when he ended up dropping it straight down from 10 feet. 10 feet is what it took before that finally shattered. So, and I'm one of these crazy fools out there that never has a case on his phone because I like the look of it without it. It's always been. But I've only had the glass break once on my iPhone 6 Plus was the only time. And that was a foot off of the ground on concrete because, well, frankly, I've never gotten one of the bigger phones since then because, like, small pockets if it's summer and it just slips out, and then that came out wrong. And I'm going to stick with this size from now on.
Well, check back tomorrow, folks, for when Shane has broken the glass on his phone. You just put the hex on yourself.
Famous last words. I mean, I do say it a lot, so it's bound to happen eventually. So then it's like I said, it's not. They don't have that ceramic glass on the back, unfortunately, but I'm sure eventually they'll throw it on there as well. So the rim. This is one of the big selling points for me with the Pro is the stainless steel rim, because it is certainly more durable, and I've put that to the test before. Because that hits, and it tends to not really get dented or scratched very easily compared to the aluminum rim on the standard 12s and 11s and probably the last few generations. But I do think overall the stainless steel has a nicer finish to it. And allegedly, I've heard this now, read it somewhere and heard someone talking about it, or I guess it was probably another YouTube video, but that for the gold specifically, they developed the new coating process, apparently, just for this gold, which is kind of cool. I mean, it stands out. I do think it stands out better than any of the other colors that they have. But now, one of the other big new things that they added, probably one of the more noticeable things, is this they brought the name MagSafe back now from the older pre-USB-C MacBooks. Mm-hmm. Which, the more I think about it, the more I hear about it, the name doesn't really make sense now. Like, I mean, maybe it was meant to be a double, name there with safe, like a vault or something. But I don't know. I think it was actually meant to be, keeps it from being safe. That was the whole thing. When you trip over your cord, your laptop doesn't go flying off of the thing. In this case, it's the same as the watch charger, where it just magnetically sticks to the back of the phone. That's totally different. If you trip over that cord, everything's going to go flying. Like,
well, yeah, but the old MagSafe for like the MacBooks, it was MagSafe because it was magnetic, but it was safe to use with the computer. Back in the days of spinning hard drives when a magnet would erase your hard drive. So they were able to make a magnetic but safe, usable thing. So it's more or less marketing. They're bringing back that name.
Yeah, for sure.
Old people like us will remember that.
And actually, so that is, they stopped doing this on the MacBooks, but when they had that magnetic connector charger, that was the greatest thing ever. I don't know why they ever went away from that.
I just gave mine away to someone that has an older MacBook too, just whatever it was yesterday or the day before. But yeah, I miss it. And
I'm trying to remember, was it a power issue? Was it that they couldn't push enough power through that for the newer MacBook Pros, and that's why they went away from it? Or did they just want to only have USB-C?
I'm not sure. We have an older MacBook Pro that still has that connector on it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many times that connector has been yanked out. And if that was, stuck in the side of the computer, would have ruined cord after cord after cord.
Yeah. Right. So my understanding is that because USB-C, or in this case Thunderbolt 3, could supply power, that they just went ahead and have everything go through that. Because you can put, in my case, I use docking station, so that I only have to plug one thing in through Thunderbolt. A lot of people look at it in the opposite way, like you need an adapter to hook all this stuff up. Well, in my case, I'm like, well, I only actually have to plug one thing in if I have a docking station or a mini hub. But it is what it is. I mean, yeah, Apple likes to keep things simple, I guess. So let's just have 4 USB-Cs, except we're still going to have an audio jack on there. And that was the big thing when they got rid of it on the iPhone, the audio jack. Apple literally sent out a survey to its customers asking if, how much they use that on their MacBooks. And it's like, for podcasting, it's pretty big. Although I'm literally doing it through Thunderbolt. Well, not right now. Right now I guess I am doing it through Thunderbolt, even on my Windows machine here now. Literally is running Thunderbolt, same kind of way. So I guess my next MacBook probably wouldn't need it, actually. Could just have the USB-C on there. But I do miss the MagSafe. Anyway, MagSafe on the phone, like I said, it's very different. It just slaps on the back of the phone. Or, it's apparently it holds fairly strong on there, because you can allegedly swing the cord around and with the phone on it. However, I've heard it's not very strong with their wallet accessory that Apple's selling now, because they have like a little wallet thing.
Yeah, they have a little like snap-on wallet.
Yep. And I guess it only holds so many cards, and like it's likely to come off if you're putting it in your pocket, so I'll probably pass on that one. As much as I keep trying to get my wallet and phone down to, like, I've been at 2 things for the longest time, right? Like, but this is even crazier than my last. My last one, I had keys like in my wallet. Now they're just sort of attached. But ultimately, yeah, that's why I want to get rid of the keys, go to home automation entirely. I mean, it would be great to just get it down to like one thing I have to carry around. It'd be great to not have any of that to deal with, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I barely carry a wallet. I have one of the I have a
Just like a little money clip.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Yep.
that's it.
Nice. Yeah, and my friends kind of do the same kind of stuff. I always have too many cards and stuff for whatever reason. But so my friend Tony, who used to be on this show, he always would rave about the MagSafe too. He still talks that up, like he wishes, especially because he's got a big like half Great Dane. Like she would trip over that cord all the time, and to be honest, I think it kind of shied him away from getting one of the newer MacBooks. But yeah, in this case, it does still work with the, I want to say it correctly, Qi chargers. For the longest time, I would say Qi, because I think it's literally Q. Is it QI?
It's QI. Yeah.
QI.
I just made a revelation. That's like one of those super high cost words you can use in Scrabble. If you ever play QI, I just put that together. I don't know if this could be like a proper name thing, so maybe it's different. I don't know, but yeah. So those still, and I was a little at first when I first caught the announcement of this. They're like, it's still compatible with Qi charger. I'm like, oh, sweet. Because my brain, of course, immediately goes to, that means the magnetism still would work. Wrong. No, does not magnetically attach to existing Qi chargers, which I should have known better, which my friends immediately pointed out to me.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. So the magnets are actually in the charger, and then it attaches to the glass and metal back of the phone.
So
it's basically a magnetic Qi charger, right? Am I understanding that correctly, or am I getting that way wrong?
I think the phone has magnets in it also, so that it lines up on the charger correctly.
right.
I can tell you that that's the biggest downfall with the Qi chargers is because my phone has it,
Mhm.
but if I don't lay it on the charger just right and make sure that it's charging,
Yeah, and I know some of that kind of varies from charger to charger when it comes to the Qi chargers, because some of them will have the cheaper ones will have real small coils, so you
Right,
really have to be careful with it. You pay a little bit more for the nicer Qi chargers. They have larger coils or they have more of them, so you have a little more give when you're doing that. So
Yeah, so I do believe Diddy is correct on it being at least slight magnets in the phone itself, because when they first leaked this phone, that was one of the things that they noticed, and I do recall them specifically saying magnets, I believe, because in theory, if the charger had magnets, then they just used metal on the back of the phone or something, a certain kind of metal. I don't know. I feel like it would have to be magnets for it to really stick on there, though. But that's
it's
my
not like the
understanding.
phone could. It's not like I could use the phone with my magnetic mount I have in my car, because the magnets aren't going to be the same there. Because I have a little metal plate that I have to put on
Right.
my phone for it to line up, match up with my mount. So
Right. So I don't know how, if it's possible to work with those existing magnetic mounts or not. I know that companies are working on, and some like Belkin put out one that it does magnetically hold your phone, but it doesn't charge it, which is just a stupid. Why they even bothered with that, I don't know. I think there's another company out there that claims that it's iPhone 12 compatible now, that also has a car mount. That is my goal, is to get something like that. But I've heard, will it or won't it stay on there securely or not? Like, if you go over a bump or something, nobody wants that. But I think that's still ultimately what I want to do with it. And the other thing, which is kind of interesting, is this new MagSafe charger, which I don't have yet. I don't know if I want to get that. I think I maybe just want to get the, like, whatever car accessory I can. But apparently that charger that Apple sells does work on existing phones for whatever reason, which is crazy to me, because, like, Apple's and other places are acting like this is a new thing, like having magnets in the back of the phone. I don't really understand why it works with existing phones exactly, but I guess you can use it.
well, I guess that was why my question was where the magnets are, because if
Yeah.
the magnets are in the charger, then I can see how it would work with an existing phone.
Sure. Yeah, it's all very confusing to me why why any of that works, because like, I thought this was a totally new idea, but maybe other phones already have, because they have the Qi charging on the back of the phone as it is. Maybe that automatically that must automatically require magnets to be able to even do that. Some form of a magnet, right?
I would assume it doesn't line up on the Apple charger. I would assume it works with other phones,
Right.
but it wouldn't line up correctly. You'd
Well-
have to make sure that you put it on there just like any other wireless
Well,
charger.
it's funny you say that, though, because when I say it works with other phones, I specifically mean it magnetically holds to other phones for some reason. Because
Really?
at least according to, once again, these are all great, reliable sources I know, but a YouTube video, I saw a guy do it. So take that for what it's worth. Be interesting to know more. So write in if if you have any thoughts on that. But
I'd be interested to know more about that, because if
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna have to look
works,
into that.
sure.
I would look into that.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, especially if you can get a case that isn't too thick, but you want to have that case with good protection, including things like my case, which has this little flap for where the USB-C port is, to not break that thing off and lose the integrity of that, and be able to just slap a charger on the back of it.
Right.
Would work. This particular phone doesn't do Qi charging, but
Sure. Yeah, and I know that the thing is, I know that some of the other, aside from that wallet Apple has now, they also have their own versions of MagSafe cases. So I just assume it basically takes that magnetism and it more or less extends it out to the back of the case, right? I mean, that's guessing
Yeah,
kind of what the idea is with that, but So the camera on this guy, it does, not the camera, but one of the several, I don't even know if you can call this, it's a LiDAR scanner. Maybe it's not technically a camera, but that is one of the front-facing things that were added, which I just equated to being a Xbox Kinect, right? Like shooting out millions of little lasers at your face, which is, I guess, better for, now you can do night mode portraits if you're excited about that sort of thing, which the portrait mode is pretty cool to begin with, I gotta say, but I don't use it that frequently. I guess it's also supposed to help with, this also makes me wonder how this works if, like, supposedly measurements are supposed to be better, but what I saw someone doing was actually taking a picture and then using their measure app. I don't know. I thought it seemed more accurate now, but it doesn't really make sense to me if the LiDAR scanner's on the front of the phone now that I think about it. Anyway, it's supposed to be able to do more stuff with that. It's supposed to make, like, animojis more accurate, whatever. I don't know who really cares about that, but now they've added night mode to, so selfies you can do night mode with, and you can do time lapse with night mode on, which I gotta say, night mode is fan-freaking-tastic. And I'm sure other phones have similar technology, but I mean, if you're willing to hold your phone there for like 3 seconds or whatever, you get some phenomenal pictures at night with it. And I recently took some in downtown Milwaukee, and I thought they turned out really well. The irony is it was the day before I got this phone, but so last year's model already was doing pretty phenomenal night photos.
So I don't remember which model Pixel it was that first started doing night mode for Google, but whatever it was came out right after I got this phone that I have now. And so that's one thing that I wish I had, because, you know, where I'm at, it gets dark. I'm a little further north, so it gets dark pretty early, especially this time of year, and it'd be really nice to have that night mode. That's whatever next phone I get is going to have some baller night mode version.
Nice.
I want that. And night mode in a time lapse would be awesome. Because
Yeah.
I enjoy time lapses. I think those are fun.
Yeah, Northern Lights
Yeah.
would be sick.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
Yeah, and I'm far enough outside of town where I live that I have a really clear night sky. So being able to set up and do a night sky time lapse in night mode would be amazing.
That would be
I would
really
love
cool.
that.
For sure. So, I can't not talk about the one con this phone has, which really surprised me because Apple is usually all about battery life. And so this is according to Mac Rumors specifically, but I've noticed it. It's like an hour less battery life for whatever reason, which is bizarre, than the 11 Pro. 6 hours and 35 minutes on running probably full blast or whatever, where they're getting the 6 hours from exactly. But I hope that's not like typical use. But I have noticed it that, and I was just telling someone today that the difference is with the 11 Pro. I remember that being like, holy cow, this thing has phenomenal battery life compared to previous iPhones that I'd had. And I think a big part of that was because they removed the 3D touch capability, or yeah, that's what they called it. Whatever sensor in there that did that. So they were able to really increase the battery size on it. Now, I don't know if it's more on the 5G side, the 5G antenna, or if it's the addition of those magnets, or what is really causing that much more of a battery. I would think the new antenna is probably the biggest culprit. Having said that, something else I was just looking at today, there are technically 3 modes you can do. Right now it's in this automatic switching mode between LTE and 5G. You can have 5G on at all times, or you can just only have LTE on. So that, I'm guessing, would probably save some battery life if that's something that you're trying to do with it.
Switching modes will always suck the battery life. I think that chip in that that processor in that in the 12 Pro is a little beefier.
Oh yeah, they're
And
always, and that's the one
so
thing.
I don't. That one's not quite as efficient as the one before.
Yeah, that is the one thing I forgot to mention, which is the, what is it, A14 by, they always have that Bionic in the name now, like it's
Marketing, gotta love their marketing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I think that is what it is. A14,
Oh.
just to confuse people with the number.
Who has better marketing than Apple, though? I mean,
Yeah,
Nobody,
Exactly.
nobody. They're the best.
With the next
Really
generation neural engine. It's I guess where they get that Bionic from. But other than that, it's pretty solid. I like it a lot so far. I like the look of it a lot. It feels good. Then again, it's funny how similar it does seem. Now, I'm on the upgrade program through Apple, so like I get to get a new phone anyway every year if I choose to, so I just choose to. But I think the feel of it is really kind of the best. The look and feel is kind of my favorite part about it so far. Obviously, there's other things I talked about here that I'm excited about, but that's sort of like the immediate, feel good, me feeling good about it anyway, that I get out of it. So because of that battery life, I'm going to dock it half a star. We're going to go 4.5 out of 5 stars for this one. It starts at $9.99 if you want to pay for it outright. This is the 256 gig model, so that's technically going to be a little bit more, but because I'm on the upgrade program, I'm only paying a monthly fee anyway, so that is all I have to say about that. Any other questions you guys have about it? I mean, I don't even know. Are either of you currently, what kind of phones are either of you currently using?
yeah, I mean, I use an Android phone, so.
Yeah, what is
So here's my Apple story. A couple of years ago, my wife went on a business conference, and I was left completely unsupervised at home.
Okay.
And she was sending me calendar invites to my Pixel, and I couldn't open them. I couldn't add them to my calendar. And I just said screw it, and I went and bought an iPhone.
Nice.
And so yeah, a couple of years ago, I went to the dark side. That's what the phone I have now. It's an XS Max, a 10s Max. I am waiting for the third to order my
I think
12 Pro Max.
Max. I think it is the third. Yeah. It's funny. Most people, I'm really surprised and happy, I guess, that you corrected it and said 10s after the fact. Like
Yeah.
because I've learned once in a while I'll try. I wasn't going to correct you on it, but I have before, which probably makes me like a huge a-hole Apple fan. But
It's sort of nice. There are things I like about the Apple ecosystem, like they're the only. I love their tablets. Their tablets are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love that my tablet and my phone
me too. Like
work together.
Their tablets are really nice. I don't know if you can see this on the stream, but it's
and my watch. I love that it all works together. And if I get a notification one place, I get it somewhere else, and
yeah, for sure,
and that kind of thing.
And actually, last episode I talked about the watch as well. It's good stuff.
I like that the health stuff all gets put into there. You were talking about tech and home automation. All my, like I have a blood pressure monitor and a scale and everything. They're all hooked in so that they log to my phone automatically. It's
Nice.
So, but I like the Apple ecosystem. I dislike the marketing of Apple. I think they oversell and then overprice their products for what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But
You're not wrong. I mean, I worked at a independent Apple store for a number of years,
Right.
and so I got to see from the inside.
Yeah.
And I like Apple products. I always have said that, but for me, like I use an Android phone, but I have an iPad because I've tried Android tablets and they're all garbage.
And they all suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
iPads are my iPad is gorgeous. If you really get into the Apple ecosystem, it's great, and I don't have any problem with that. I just didn't go in there early on, so for me, like, I still stick my toes in the water. I've used plenty of Macs and all of that. I am very much the pragmatist of like whatever tool for the job that I'm trying to do.
And that's great.
So if I did more like photo work or more video work than I do now, I probably would be more Apple oriented than I am.
Right. And I have a friend who's pretty similar about, I see him, he's mostly anti-Apple, but then like, hey, check out this iPad. And I let him play around with it. And he was like blown away, like, especially because he likes to draw and stuff. So it was like, he was, I tried telling him before that like, no, the responsiveness is really good on these, and he didn't like want to believe me. And then he actually tried it. He's like super impressed by it. But yeah, I'd say the watch is another example where I think they're kind of excelling at compared to what else is out there. I mean, I think the Samsung one is maybe okay. The watch, some people like the Fitbits, but I think Apple's kind of killing it with the watch too right now.
Yeah, and again, that kind of goes down to like, how are you using it? Like for me, the Apple Watch isn't something that I've played with them. I've worn them. They're great. But my day-to-day usage, it's more than I needed. So for me, like I miss my Pebble. I don't know if either of you remember the Pebble watch.
I remember the Pebble.
I know someone that got that right away.
That thing was perfect because for one, the battery on it was like a week. And it did exactly what I wanted, which was it told the time and it gave me notifications, and that's all I needed. So, but that's me, and I know that's me. Meanwhile, I know like the Apple Watch is a fantastic watch, and if you use it for the things that it's designed for, it's great. iPhones are the same way. I love the look, the fit and finish of an iPhone. I just don't live in that ecosystem. I'm invested enough in Android now. That's where I'm going to stay.
Sure. That makes sense.
But I want to see the iPhones get better, because as the iPhones get better, Android phones get better, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there are certain ecosystems, like all my music is at Amazon. All of it. Everything is at Amazon. So, but I can still use Amazon Music on my iPhone. It doesn't work as well. It's not quite as seamless an experience, but it still works.
Sure.
So, all my email is still Gmail. All that kind of stuff. So, still works. Not quite as seamless as it could be, but not gonna rip, years and years of stuff away.
Yeah, I got
completely in the ecosystem.
I gotta say, like, I will always be a Gmail user, and there's no way I'm going over to Apple's like @me.com or whatever the hell it is. They've got like that. They've got at iCloud, all these different ones you can use, but I'm not stick with Gmail. And it seems to work. It works pretty well. I don't use Apple's default mail client either, because they don't believe in labels, I guess, like Gmail does. Like, which sounds kind of funny saying it that way. Like, it's good that they don't label people. No, it's that. Yeah, they think you should just have to put things in one folder and that's it. Nothing could ever fall under two categories, I guess.
No.
That's been something that's bothered me for a while, but it's just me, I guess.
It's better. It's certainly better than it used to be with Apple products, too. There's more flexibility than you used to get.
Absolutely.
That's for sure, yeah.
Which is really why I ever even made the switch to Apple, because I grew up with, with Windows and everything, and here I am running on it again, but that's a whole other story. Why I'm kind of using both right now. I'm balancing between the two once again, but we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Still on the Apple bandwagon for now.
Yeah. Like I said, mine was a compatibility thing with my wife, because she will never use an Android device. So.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
That makes a difference. Yeah, my ex, she used an Android phone, so there was no like pressing need to have Apple. I was the weird guy at the Apple store that had an Android phone, so that was always fun. But yeah, I mean, it's you use what you need for whatever you're doing. I'm sitting in front of a Windows machine. I've got a Linux laptop upstairs that I use quite a bit with my iPad and my Android phone, and I had a MacBook up until just recently that I used quite a bit too. So
I'm guessing Apple didn't want you to use your phone in this or while you were there or something.
Well, it wasn't an official Apple store. We were an independent retailer because the area that I live in doesn't have enough population density for Apple to actually open a store here.
Sure.
So my boss didn't care.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. I don't know for sure if even in a typical Apple store, I'm gonna guess they wouldn't want you to, but
I'm sure they frown on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably frown on it.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps things up for today. Hey, if you want to write in, you can do that at techiespodcast@gmail.com. We're on some social media occasionally, though. I don't know how useful it really is, to be honest. I might get rid of these accounts at Techies Podcast at most social media. The website, however, just to make things more confusing, is niceguynetwork.com/techies. Hey, leave a rating. I keep wanting to say us, but ever since my co-host left, and now I have to fight to get guests on. It's kind of like me and you guys today, but leave the show an iTunes rating if you wouldn't mind, or wherever. I don't even know anymore. It's like Apple Music is sort of, now it's just like the music app. iTunes is kind of going away more or less as a name, so just leave a rating wherever you can find it. I don't know anymore even, to be honest.
Wherever you listen to the show, leave the rating.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could do that. That would be awesome. Hey, you guys. Hey, Diddy, where can people find you out there?
I am Diddy Does Game, Diddi, Does Games, and that is everywhere. Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. YouTube, I am Diddy Does Games.
Right on. And how about you, Travis?
Kind of the same thing. TVS Travis, pretty much any social network. I do a couple of shows a week. One talking about the series Highlander. I'm going through episode by episode, and then I also do a show called Wait You Haven't Seen, where I talk about movies and I make people watch something for the first time ever, like Don watching The Princess Bride because he had never seen it. Things like that. And I live stream those Sunday and Monday nights on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/tvstravis. And I also do some game streaming now and again.
Right on. Yeah, always a good time on that show. Appreciate you guys being on today. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad. I'm also glad to bring in some non-Apple perspectives when I can. You can find me though at Shave Mad Ox. That crazy, weird, fun name. Maybe not so fun, but crazy mostly. So thank you guys. Thanks everyone else out there for listening and watching today. Greatly appreciated. Kind of recording Tuesdays now. We'll see how that goes. Maybe get a Sunday in here and there. But anyway, until next time, tech her easy.
Please hang up and try again.
Nice. And that's wrap.
Did you make the music?
I did make the music. I mean, the sound effects were taken from whatever GarageBand included sound effects were at the time, but the music itself, yeah, I guess I did do that.
You're just doing a little sampling. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yep.
Work for the Beastie Boys. It can work for Shane.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks again, guys. That was
thanks.
Oh,
good times.
no, thank you. Had a great time.
Right.
I'm always anything time to talk tech and geeky and nerdy stuff, I'm all in.
Heck
Oh, yeah. Especially about Skynet and iPhones.
Or yeah, one and the same.
Well, so
Yeah,
I did,
it's on.
I did a guest spot a few weeks back on a show talking about COVID, and they were talking about a robot that was they were developing a robot to administer COVID tests, and it was the most frightening thing I've ever seen, because the video of it shows this giant robot arm with one of the huge cotton swabs slowly moving towards somebody's face as it swab in, and it's one of those tests that scrapes the back of your brain. So you're just watching this robot arm slowly pushing this cotton swab into this guy's nose as he sits there, and I'm like clenching the whole time watching this video. It was frightening.
Did it remind you of like the interrogation droid approaching Princess Leia or something? Like
Scarier than that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not know robots were doing that.
Well, one company is trying to develop that anyway, and I say no. No thanks.
No, not happening.
Not at all. All right. Well, I better run because he's sleeping in the chair now, but he was trying to get my attention earlier, so I think he's still outside again.
Cool. Were you playing Phasmophobia at all tonight?
I don't know. I had a long day at work, so I'm kind of wiped out. I want to.
Yeah, Alex is playing, and
I don't know if I have as they say, the spoons to do that tonight. I think I'm a
it's
little
already
tapped out.
9:30.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll probably see what.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast, so.
Yep. All right. Well, it's cool.
Plus, I worked an extra hour on Monday because they did a hardware refresh at work and they gave me a new laptop. But when they shipped it to me, they had it set for Central Time, and I wasn't paying attention.
Oh no.
So it showed up on Monday. I set it up. I started working on it. I kept looking at the clock on that. And I'm like, oh, cool, 5 o'clock. All right, clock out. I'm like, it's 6. What the hell happened?
Oh no.
So I worked an extra hour and didn't realize it.
Jeez. That's a bummer.
Yeah. So, well, thanks, Shane. It was
Cool.
fun.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Shane. I had a good time. Again, if you're need a guest, let me know.
Absolutely. Very cool. Great job.
Also, love the shirt, Don.
Oh yeah, hey,
Gotta represent.
Gotta represent when you can.
And just remember, don't panic.
Okay.
I get a lot of comments.
Oh, I don't have my.
I get a lot of comments on this shirt when I'm wearing it out and about, and I don't know if it's like I can never tell if it's people that have actually read Hitchhiker's Guide or if they just think I'm wearing a shirt that says "Don't panic" during the pandemic. Like I'm never sure.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
Put on my
All right.
security background for tomorrow.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. Very cool.
All right, gents. You have a good night.
You
All right,
too.
guys.
Thanks a lot.
Have a good one. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.